According to Keira Lombardo, Senior Vice President of Corporate Affairs for Smithfield Foods, a quarter of all pork raised in the United States is exported and shipped to more than 90 countries. As trade tensions across the world continue to rise, she says that Smithfield is working to ensure that export markets remain open. Last week, China announced its intent to put retaliatory tariffs on $3 billion worth of U.S. products, including a 25% tariff on pork. Keira was recently a keynote speaker at the CME Group Foundation Symposium hosted by the Yider Institute. We spoke with her at the event and began our conversation by asking her about the importance of global trade for Smithfield.
Global pork trade is incredibly important to Smithfield and the pork industry generally. About a quarter of all pork is actually exported outside of the U.S. to more than 90 countries around the world. So any growth in the U.S. pork industry is really dependent on exports and access to those markets throughout the world. The U.S. pork industry is projected to grow about 5% this year. There's some new plants that have come online, and that pork just simply has to go somewhere. Americans are not consuming more pork, so we need to send it outside of the borders, outside of the shores of the United States.
According to the United States Department of Agriculture, pork was one of the top U.S. agricultural exports in 2017 with $6.5 billion worth of export goods. Smithfield's top 4 trading partners, Mexico, China, Japan, and Korea, are also among the USDA's top markets for U.S. agricultural exports in 2017. Although pork is ranked 5th out of the top 10 U.S. ag exports, challenges and opportunities can arise and affect the pork export market, including Smithfield Foods.
So the major challenge is the fact that relationships with certain key trading partners are somewhat uncertain. So that goes back to regulation, a lot of the conjecture that's out there. Change is just something that's pervasive in business today and something that I think is difficult to get used to, but it's just part of functioning in the current environment. So any discussions around tariffs or trade agreements that create uncertainty in the market can be difficult to manage through. That being said, exports are a huge opportunity for the pork industry. So it's an opportunity for more jobs in the U.S., it's an opportunity to reduce the U.S. Trade deficit by exporting. I mean, these are things that are very important on the agenda for America today. And as the industry grows and exports more, it helps lower that trade deficit. So it's a huge opportunity for America generally and also the pork industry to identify new customers and new consumers in global markets.
According to Keira, Smithfield is responding and adapting to these global demands and connecting with international consumers by communicating and adapting internally in order to maintain their current trade partners, especially when there are added tariffs or specific requirements for pork products.
So there's a number of things that Smithfield is doing to really tap into those export markets and to make sure that important trade markets remain open for our products. So the first thing is really just communication, which sounds very simple, but we spend a lot of time in DC and a lot of time conversing with key government stakeholders to make sure that they understand the importance of trade and how it impacts all the way through the supply chain, how it results in jobs, how it lowers the U.S. trade deficit, and to make sure that that message is really well received and well understood amongst people who are making the policies of this country. So a lot of it just ties back to communication, going down to the local grassroots level in our plant and our farm communities, all the way up to the Hill in Washington, D.C., and even beyond. So that's the first area is communication, very, very important. The other area is Smithfield has done things to adapt internally. So as an example, Smithfield is vertically integrated, which means that we raise the animals and then we also process the animals, make packaged meats products, and then send those on to the consumers and the customer. So we cover the entire supply chain in terms of our production, and we're able to more easily adapt. We have full traceability of our products. So one area that we've really apply this vertically integrated strategy is ractopamine. Ractopamine is an FDA-approved feed supplement. It promotes the production of lean meat. However, in certain key export markets, China being one of them, they don't allow that supplement. So what we've been able to do is remove that from the feed on our company-owned farms so we can produce that tailor-made product for that country.